we'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, man, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's so cool to see. And it's just, it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, hey, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann and still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers, a wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? Welcome back into the Buccateers podcast. I'm repping an OG hat. I uncovered the A-Train Mike Elstott. J-Lo's got Mike Evans. We got Mike and Mike in the morning here from back in the day. Greeny and Gold. No, I'm just kidding. We're not those guys. I think one's fired and one's causing hell over at ESPN. But without further ado, we got a great guy in the house. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself. The great J-Lo in the building alongside with some great listeners saying, Richard, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, Richard T. Always great with you, my friend. We love our lady listeners. The great Trisha in the house. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you as well, Trisha. And happy Sunday to you, brother J-Lo. How the hell you doing, brother?
Good, man. Sunday fun day. Got to turn my camera on, show my wonderful face, I know I've been, MIA, with the video and stuff like that. But I'm doing good, man. God is good. It's a great Sunday. Got the kids. How about you, brother? How you doing?
Great day to have a great day. B shoes in the house. Morning, kids. Morning, Brian. Hope your Sunday's going good, brother. Bucs by 30. We'll be back on Wednesday for those looking for the great Zach Johnson. He just returned from a great Florida trip, so we can't wait to hear about that. Lucky Lucy in the house. Richard, how was the NFL draft? You got to share your ins and outs of day 2. You went to day 2 of the NHL draft, Richard. That's right. So great stuff. You got to report how the vibe was, how it was like, your team drafted the guy you wanted. Maybe not. We'll see. But Richard, do share details, please. Excited to hear that. Have a great show, guys. Happy Sunday, brother Tyler. We appreciate you. Great group here this morning, early on a Sunday. We're really firing on all cylinders, J-Lo.
Off to a fire start, man.
Fire the damn cannons.
I'm all for it, man. I love it. Commenters keep commenting. If you have any questions, ask, man. We love to answer them.
Ask away, and we got some exciting announcements to come as well. Some news on our YouTube channel and podcast state as a whole. We're going to get into today. The great Christopher C Squared says, morning, guys. Morning to the great Christopher Cole. We love C Squared. He's always around and bustling. So, tragic. New mug. Had the same weekend mug for about 4.5 years now on the program, but today we put to rest the champs on a boat, which was an OG mug. But what can you do? It had good 4 years. Served the show every Saturday or Sunday morning. So J-Lo, another legendary Bucs memento bite the dust, brother.
R.I.P. man. R.I.P. man. That was a nice mug. I'll be on the lookout. Try to get you another
Dude,
one.
I cannot find these anywhere. The one I'm talking about with the guys on the boat with Leonard Fournette and Gronk and.
No, I remember you showed me. I remember I saw that when I came up there. It was nice, dude. I said I'll be on the lookout, man. If I find it, I'll definitely get it for you, man.
Hey, if any listener out there finds the Bucs Barstool Super Bowl champs mug, I will hook you up with Buccateers gear as a finder's fee. Obviously, I'll pay for the mug. I'm not expecting you to pay for the mug, but as a finder's fee, I'll send you guys merch. Any Buccateers listener that could find the Barstool champs mug when they're all on a boat celebrating. But if not, it is what it is, and what can you do? Is that an Evans color rush? I think so, right, J-Lo?
Yes, it is. I figured since, we're in the 50th season, I felt like bringing this bad boy out of the closet and putting it on. One of my favorite jerseys. Even though the clock numbers were annoying, but the color rush jerseys I liked a lot. I wish, that's the only thing I really liked about the alarm clock was the color rush. That
Damn. Not to cut you off, J-Lo, but our guy Rundax, this is a funny one. You should hold a boat parade for retiring the boat parade. Yeah, we'll get in and we'll get in touch. We'll throw a little parade. It'll happen September 21st. You could join us. We'll be the 1 2x2 little boat that looks like a piece of cardboard out floating down the Hillsborough. We'll be out there. So join us and we'll see what happens. But no, Ren, always a great time to talk to you, my friend. But yeah, J-Lo, sweet swag right there, man. The color rush was and I do like the alarm clocks. I'm not one of the people that ultimately hate the alarm clocks, but the color rush was by far the best element of that uniform. Ain't that right?
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I remember when I first got this, because I wanted it the moment, they came out the color rush, but fortunately, it's pricey, but this is actually a stitched up real jersey that I hardly ever wear because I sweat like a pig outside. So, that's why I just put it on once in a while, in the AC, let it flow. And of course, Mike Evans, future first ballot Hall of Famer, I got a lot of his jerseys from alarm clock to his color rush. I mean, I got to represent, man. And of course,
hard to not have Mike Evans gear when you are a Bucs fan. I mean, I think I have two jerseys, the white alarm clock and the red modern day. We have Joey joining us momentarily. Tyler Sharp says sick as style. I'd like a modern version. I have a good show. I do have the modern. It's cool. And rest in peace, my late great uncle bought it for me. So even better there. Mike Evans merch, man. Just that's why I wore the Mike Elstad hat. I'm like, J-Lo's going Mike Evans. No, I had no idea he was going Mike Evans hat, but I just found this in the closet and I was like, had to pull it out. I guess I will just have another Yes, exactly, Brian. So that's what we'll do, right? We'll win the Super Bowl this year, and then on my coffee mug could be Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irvin, K-Dot, and trying to think of who else. Levante David instead of Devin White, which should have been in the first place. And then
Mike and Chris.
One more. Yeah, there you go. Instead of JPP, could be who? Hassan Reddick. There we go. That'll be we'll see. But thank you. Richard T tells a story as we welcome Joey in. Joey, the great Richard T, was at the NHL draft this past weekend, going to night 2, telling us all his stories. Joey, this reminds me of when we went to that awesome wrestling event It's called Top Guys Weekend. Only about 50 guys get invited, and they have all the belts there from every wrestling promotion. They had all the WWE belts, all the WCW belts, all the TNA belts, all the AEW belts. It was just surreal to be able to see the real life belts, but I could only imagine seeing the real life Stanley Cups. Joey, happy Sunday. Welcome in.
Happy Sunday. It's been a good weekend so far. Got my Cubs jersey on because they won yesterday. It was fun to see them win. Had a nice little bet there, and we're going to be going on this Sunday. We had last weekend off. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to win some money for the people out there, and we're getting closer to football. I sent it out this morning. It's 10 Sundays away, so before you know it, we will be at training camp, then preseason, and regular season. It's a great day to be alive.
And reminder, we were 32-11 plus $335 on June 14th. Breadwinners, that was. And I'm going to have to go back in time, but that day we had the DC Defenders, the Washington Nationals, and the Oilers money line. I'll see if those hit. So even if those didn't hit, we're still 32-14 on the season. But I'm pretty sure at least one of those probably did hit. But Joey, if you can't tell, me and J-Lo are Mike and Mike this morning with their hats on. We're Greeny and Golick throwing it back to early. I got Elstad, he's got Evans, you know.
You know what? You could even do better than that now. I just saw actually Mike and Mike are on FanDuel father and son. I think they're on like 2:00 Eastern. So the true Mike after Greenberg went, you know, the 4-letter company, and he went all selfish. So you guys are perfection with the Mike and Mike. Yeah, I don't have that stuff, obviously, but I love to see it being wrapped. I almost put on a Colts jersey, but going to save those for a little bit longer, just a little bit. But like I said, good stuff all the way around. You can't go wrong, especially with Mr. Mike Evans or Mr. Mike Elstad.
Yeah, we got some OGs on Facebook in the house. The great David Ferrara tuned in, to one of Tampa's finest realtors, so we appreciate Mr. Dave tuning in greatly. Real quick before we get to the meat of the show, Christopher says, speaking of wrestling, what did y'all think of Night of Champions? I'll let J-Lo and Joey handle that one more so. Then we'll flip the script to Bucs talk a little bit. Joey, we'll start with you. 60 seconds or less, little Night of Champions recap and grade.
Yeah, I watched every second. Really enjoyed it. In 60 seconds or less, a couple of my highlights.
We'll get back to it, by the way, but
No problem at all. Huge Cody Rhodes win to get him king of the ring, and then John Cena retained against CM Punk, which means at SummerSlam you will be able to see, even though he says you can't see him, Cena versus Rhodes round 2. Other good battles. Shout out to Jade Cargill getting hers, and then Solo Sikoa added another bloodline family member to take up Jacob Fatu. I wish Fatu would have retained, but overall it was a good night. That crowd was insane. There's some other jokes I got out of it, but the crowd itself was insane. One of the loudest I've heard in many of times of pay-per-view. So even though it's not always great being over there, that crowd was electric.
J-Lo, thoughts if you did watch it?
Yeah, I caught some of it. Definitely, I thought it was a good show, good crowd for sure. You know, Cody Rhodes winning, you know, beating Randy Orton, even though Orton's, you know, now he's a runner back-to-back years and King of the Ring, which is good, though. It helps promote Cody a little bit more. I think we're going to see a heel Randy come out sooner or later after watching that. I definitely liked the main event, how it ended. You know, Seth Rollins trying to come out and cash in. I mean, I thought that was pretty epic. And then Cena kind of like going two-faced for a second, not knowing how to handle the situation. And then as we know, he does the AA to Seth Rollins. And then, I mean, overall, I thought it was a good event. Definitely exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, it was one of those during the day I worked yesterday, so it was hard for me to watch it live. I'll see if I get some time in this week. I'll probably squeeze in a couple matches. That's what I've been doing with the earlier pay-per-views. I'll watch it throughout the week, a little bit here, a little bit there when you got time. So looking forward to watching that. Heard some good things about it.
What's the reviews on Mr. Disney movie?
Oh, Elio, it was pretty good. Not Stitch good, obviously. I mean, it's hard to live up to Stitch. You know,
jeez. Oh, my God.
What Stitch is a beast. Elio was good, though. I did see Elio last night. It was different. It was sad, happy, you know, all the...
one of those sad one, tearjerker?
Well, typically, you know, there's highs and lows, right? You always get the fun times in Disney movies and then a sad moment, and then they always rise to the top, seemingly, after the sad moment. So it was good, though. It was It was good. Got a free popcorn for the birthday. That's always a good thing. And
Hey.
yeah, I think some of it's still stuck in my teeth. But
That's probably, I love popcorn. I'm not a big corn on the cob guy like you, but popcorn I love, but I hate that the next day when you could still feel it in there and you even have the leftover taste almost before you get that coffee in you.
oh yeah, and what happened, J-Lo?
What'd you say?
I said the buttery taste goodness from the popcorn.
John Madden here with the buttery popcorn. I know Zach would have been feeling my pain. I tried to get the Elio popcorn bucket last night, but Olive told me you shouldn't, and I didn't. So, but Zach,
how much more?
I don't know. Probably only $10 or $15. I
should have got it.
I know, man. I'll go back. Maybe we'll see. But anyway, Elio was good, and wrestling pay-per-view was good. UFC we'll get to later as well. That was a fun one. That last match ended.
And then nobody missed a damn thing with Jake Paul fight. That thing was, you could fall asleep during that thing.
Yeah, sadly, I mean, I love those guys, the Paul brothers.
So do I.
They're just promotion-wise not there. But that's what boxing is, sadly. It's a thing of the past. So there were our weekend intros. From our weekend intros, we'll get into some Rasta battles quickly. J-Lo out of cornerback, wide receiver depth, edge depth, tight end depth. Richard. It is, man. Popcorn bucket crazes. I got 2 popcorn buckets from a Disney cruise that are worth triple digits each. They're worth like $125 and $150. So, you get these popcorn buckets, and the trick is you don't use them. You ask for the popcorn on the side and the bucket on the side, so the bucket stays clean. It doesn't get dirty. So if you sell it, you could get people.
No, the trick is you leave the bucket in your room for a year and forget about it with popcorn still in it, and then you find it a year later and it's not.
Hey, like Tom Madden said, you lose the popcorn on the couch, you find it a year later, you could eat it again. Yeah, Joey, we went to Disney and he found popcorn like a year later, and I think J-Lo's eating fake popcorn now, so we're gonna have to get off this segment. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but J-Lo out of cornerback, wide receiver, edge, tight end, or inside linebacker depth. Which of those roster battles tickles your fancy the most of the bunch?
Man, you gave me a little tough lineup there, buddy. But
I thought you were going to say you had a little something else.
No. Don't even
hey, nothing comes easy here, literally and figuratively.
I'm going to go a little underrated here. The linebacking group's been talked about a lot. I got to go tight end room, man. I think we got a pretty good set of group of tight ends, that can all ball out no matter who it is. It could be Cade Otton, Payne Durham, Devin Culp is being talked about a little bit, stepping in for, tight end 2. So that'll be a fun position battle. And you can't leave out Coach Keefe, you can't leave him out either. He's been in the league for almost 3 seasons now, experience, and you can always utilize him in the blocking game. So I'm going to go tight end room this time. The tight end group will be fun to watch because Cade Otton's on a contract season. But you got a chance to see Payne Durham and Devin Culp come in, probably step it up, saying, hey, if we ball out, they may not have to pay Cade Otton and let him go. But I don't think that's what they're thinking. But you know what I mean. I'm saying this. To me, I feel like this is a good tight end group that will battle, and help out, the passing game, blocking game. So let me go tight end group this time.
Yeah, I got a tweet as well. I see a money button now by the comments. Y'all looking for? No, we're not looking for money. So this is the evolution. This is how it works. This is how the show grows. We're not asking for money, but hey, if you leave a super chat out there, beautiful. If you join a membership, beautiful. It's a great thing about pods growing. We did reach monetization level with YouTube, so we do offer now 2 memberships, a $2.99 membership and a $5.99 membership. Each of those memberships come with exclusive perks. We'll get into more details on those here in a bit, but we do have 2 tiers of membership. The $5.99 membership is cool because you get a free piece of Buccateers merch every year just by subscribing. $5.99, the shirt or
maybe
cup,
a free pair of socks.
Yeah, whatever the hell it is going to be more in money alone than $5.99, right?
Just kidding, obviously.
So we're calling our $5.99 level membership the Buccateers Brigade. Be a Buccateers Brigade member today, or $2.99 honorary Buccateers members. You get live chat, private message access, which is pretty cool. You could actually private message us on the live chat, and we'll be able to see it, just you, other honorary Buccateers, and the Buccateers. And then you also get weekly shout outs for whatever you want on a weekly show. You message us what you want shouted out, and we'll give you a shout out on one of our pods weekly. You could easily do that just for $2.99 or upgrade to receive merch for $5.99. You could leave super chats, super stickers, all that stuff for whatever the hell out of the goodness of your heart wants, but we're not looking for any of it. That's not what we need. Oh, first super chat ever. Wow, Bishu laying down the $10 super chat. We're gonna have to come up with a cool celebration or something.
Oh, for real. Thank you very much, Bishu.
We'll play
shit off here.
We'll play some music for that, right? We'll get into the music a little bit with Joey getting Joey's exposing his areolas.
No, I promise not today. I promise you.
First ever super chat. That's awesome. But yes, guys, we're not looking for, we do thank Brian greatly, but it's just part of growing, man. I mean, it's cool to see. So yeah,
you are the man, Brian. You have yourself a Sunday, my friend.
Yeah, that was awesome stuff there from the great Brian. And just so you know, if you do give us a super chat, it appears at the top of the feed, at the top of the show. So your comment comes first, right? We're still going to get to the freebies and the other comments. But
yeah, we don't go corporate here.
Super chat ups your comment, bumps it to the top, ups it first. And we could see that on our end. So the first money coming in from YouTube on the Buccateers. Bishu in the house. As an oyster shucker. Oh, man. That is awesome. But, yeah, Brian was a great guy. I got the chance to meet him a little bit at the Arians Family Foundation golf outing years back, and that was a fun time. That's where I met Zach, Stank, Poppy, and the rest of the guys. Just a great group of guys and girls that were at that golf out. Pelagic Computer and his wife were there, incredible people as well. So always a treat to talk to Brian on the air, off the air, because he's just a good guy. So thank you, Brian, for that. And Zach will be happy because Zach was pushing my button saying, hey, let's get this going. Let's get this rolling and set up. So Zach, if you're watching, I know you'll be happy out there, brother. Yeah, it was. I mean, seeing Vita Vea swing a golf club alone was a blast, right? You're seeing this guy come up looking like this out there with the golf club, and you saw Kyle Trask, and well, you saw that's all I'll say. You saw Kyle Trask, and just a great time. Todd Bowles, that was shortly after Todd Bowles became the head coach of the Bucs, so he was all smiles, cheese, and Bruce Arians picks up the mic, says "fuck the Saints," drops the mic. It was just a hell of a time with the fellas. The Loose Cannons did a phenomenal job of running that, I will say. So shout out to them for the opportunity. I donated and I won a raffle and got to go. So that was cool to meet the guys. But Joey, for the Bucs and for the Colts, what roster battles are you looking forward to, my friend?
I mean, Colts wise, it's pretty easy. I'll just go with the shoe-in of the quarterback battle. I don't, if you want to, it's kind of.
You think Richardson will be healthy enough to battle?
I think he'll be healthy enough to battle. It's just, to me, going to be a matter of, does Steichen want to have the quarterback that I think Dimes has a lower floor and a lower ceiling, but he's going to play more consistent football. Richardson, you could potentially get the big boom or bust, but if it busts, as we've seen, you don't make the playoffs the last couple of years. With Danny Dimes, maybe you just steady the ship. So I'm intrigued by the competition. Still hoping Richardson wins it, but either way, I will be rocking whoever wins jersey because the team around him is ready to go. We just need that QB to finally step up ever since Andrew Luck, the day he quit in the preseason. So we need that. And then on the Bucs perspective, J-Lo, you kind of said tight end. That was a good one. I mean, to me,
other opportunity, cornerback, wide receiver, inside linebacker, some of the other ones.
Yeah, when I watched the Bucs a lot last year, not only from my frustration, but from Tone's, and when they had the injuries or whatever happened next to Levante David, sometimes these linebackers would get caught up running 5 to 10 yards behind, even at cornerback and safety when backups sometimes had to come in from people like Dean being injured and others. These guys were just kind of, dragging around. I'm not saying their effort wasn't there, but their gameplay wasn't fully up to speed. So I'd like to see in a Ball's defense, one of those guys, which congrats to him, by the way, in light, but one of those people move up and have a big season. Levante's not going to get younger. Jamal Dean's not going to be probably on the team for a super long time. Maybe he will, but either way, they need somebody young to step up. I was a big Walker fan. He was in Indianapolis a while. Somebody has to step up at linebacker or corner this year, and I'm intrigued to see who it is.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Indianapolis, that's a shoe-in because this is kind of the important face of Richardson's career in Indy. You know, you go out there, you have some good time, you have some fun. Richardson's going to be very valid out there and earn his chance to be a key cog of Indy for years to come if he doesn't have a good year this year. Man, oh man, who the hell knows what might happen? But that's what happens with first-round picks, right? Somebody on the show commented somebody was going to be
look at the highs and lows of Baker Mayfield, the number 1 pick, right? I mean, look at from Cleveland winning them a playoff game for the first time in 20 years. We beat a dead horse. Then he got fumbled around a little bit with injuries, and now Tampa, he's back to that stature. I mean, anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Sam Darnold. We talk about it all the time. He just got paid. I don't think it's going to work out in Seattle, but good for the guy. I mean, is a first-round pick. You could have it happen. You could have things add up sometimes on the bad or good side, and we'll see. So let's let it get it on.
Again, shout out to the great B Shuck out there for the great big man first ever super chat, which is awesome. Bucs, I'm going to go with Richardson, Danny Dimes for the Colts as well. Hell, throw Bean and Leonard in there if you want to for the third quarterback spot. You know, I'll be interested to see who wins QB3 for the Colts between Bean and Riley Leonard. I think that'll be a fun little battle. I think Leonard should win it, but Bean's been in the system a couple of years now. You never know if he surprises and does what he has to do to be QB3 in Indy. So I'd say not only Richardson and Jones, but I'd say the entire Colts QB room in general is what I'm keeping my eye on, how that QB roster falls top to bottom, 1 through 4. See what happens there. Now for roster battle talk, Bucs-wise, you guys brought up a couple of good points already to this point. One that hasn't really been talked about yet, wide receiver 6. You know, we had a lot of health concerns last year. Joey and I went to a Chiefs-Bucs game where we had to trot Marquez Callaway out there. You know, Ryan Miller played the entirety of the game, which, you know, nothing to get, but just one of those things where you go down, down, down. You lose guys like Evans. You lose guys like Godwin. You lost others. Jalen McMillan was hurt at that point in his time as well. So
I don't even think he played. I don't even think he even played that game, Tom.
No, that's what I'm saying. Jalen McMillan was hurt that time as well. So you're without those 3 right there. And I could be wrong. I think Sterling Shepard might have missed a couple plays in the game. I think he was a little banged up in that one too. Our guy Neil joining. How the hell are you, Neil? But yeah, Ray J. That was the bowl game this year, Joey, where Michigan beat Alabama in the Outback Bowl. And
I was curious where it came from.
Or it's not the Outback Bowl anymore.
Oh no, like the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Yeah, it used to be the Outback Bowl, though, right, J-Lo?
Yeah, it used to be. Now it's the ReliaQuest Bowl. Then they got a Gasparilla Bowl as well at Ray J. So they got 2 bowl games.
Yeah, but that's always on at like 5 o'clock. The Gasparilla one's on at such stupid times always. But
yeah,
man,
yeah, no, it was. I think it was at 4 o'clock this past on.
Yeah, you know, it's hard if you're getting home on a Friday from work. You know, it's hard. But I'd say wide receiver 6 is something I'm keeping my eye on. A lot of people think Tez Johnson will win it. Or even wide receiver 5, but you got the top 4 locked in. You got Ibuka, you got McMillan, you got Godwin when healthy, you got Evans. Sterling Shepard will probably be number 5, probably I say, because you never know. But I'll give him the heads up there with his familiarity with the offense and Baker Mayfield and stuff. And then number 6, you got a battle with Tez Johnson, Ryan Miller, Rakim Jarrett. Cam Brown, the undrafted rookie out of Barton last year, Cam Johnson, who missed a lot of games. So not a lot, but he missed a good point of games in the middle of the season, I think 3 to 4 weeks. But regardless, you're going to get these roster battles. Ryan Miller was the only wide receiver to stay healthy all of last year for this Bucs team. How are they going to view that? Are they going to view that as important? You still have Marquez Callaway signed a futures contract. He had to step in, as we said, and played a couple games last year. So there's going to be a roster battle, not for the front end of the Bucs wide receiver room, but for the back end. And Tez Johnson's right in the middle of that, where Tez Johnson's going to get help. Dennis Houston, another guy in there too, but he's more of a practice squad body. Where Tez gets help, in my opinion, is his special teams possibilities and potentials. He could return. His gadget plays maybe offensively, right? It's 3rd and 1. You could have him come on an end around, and even if you don't give it to him, he's going to draw the defender to follow him across the field. So I'm very much so looking forward to the usage of Tez Johnson if he does emerge as Bucs wide receiver 5 or Bucs wide receiver 6. But that's no gimme. This Bucs team, or regime, I should say, has made it apparent over the years they're not afraid to release later on picks if they never play. Remember Raymond Calais, running back taken later in the rounds. He never played with the Bucs. Andre Anthony, edge out of LSU, 7th round pick a couple of years ago. He never played with the Bucs. So the Bucs aren't afraid to rip Band-Aids off. Not saying that'll happen with Tez. I think he ends up winning it. But I'm just going to say it's not going to be a gimme, and you cannot overlook the fact that Ryan Miller was the only wide receiver available every single week for a very injury-plagued team. I kid you not. They're going to take that into consideration greatly when it's all said and done when looking at that wide receiver room. You just have to. You just have to with McMillan, Godwin, and Evans' injury proneness. But, fellas, go ahead, J-Lo.
No, I mean to cut you off, but also Trey Palmer, he's not guaranteed a job. Ryan Miller, you fight him for wide receiver 5. I mean, that's another thing I want to throw out there with Ryan Miller. I do agree with you.
And I think we can make – I don't think we'd get much, but I feel like we can maybe ship Trey off for 7th, even if it's a couple years down the road. And remember, Trey was only a 6th-round pick. So even if we did get a 7th for him, that's not a bad loss right there. But we might not get nothing for him, sadly, at this point too, which – or maybe we get another project from another team, right? Maybe we trade a project for a project. Joey and I are Bulls fans. We just trade Lonzo for Isaac Okoro. Maybe the Bucs do something like that. Maybe you trade Trey Palmer for a struggling young player somewhere else. And the weird thing with Trey Palmer was his emergence was right there. He had a great playoff game against the Eagles as a rookie. And then last year, I feel like he was just, and they gave him every chance. He got to return last year. And that just didn't do much, but we'll see. We'll see, guys. We're 10 Sundays away from NFL Sunday. Fun fact, Joey. When you hear that, does your bones start chilling?
There's a certain bone, but I have a bone to pick.
No wonder why we haven't seen your hands, my friend. But
I'm trying to find Roku right now on my damn TV for this first baseball game, and you
can still watch it through normal MLB TV if you need to.
Yeah, I'm just struggling.
Roku is actually nice like that. You could still watch the game on all the we could still get it on DirecTV. It's not like a Peacock or Apple.
Oh, I see.
You could still watch it on the normal outlets too. But
all right, well that will help. But yeah, no, like we talked about a little bit, I'm just amped for NFL. I don't like to rush it too much because right when we're in week 1 talking about it, next thing you know, it's like week 14 and either your team's fighting or your team's kind of done and you're sadly in the heart of winter, at least in the Chicagoland area. So I'm going to embrace it all. Once training camp gets here, we're about to be at the point where you might see a couple more free agents be trickling around too. I know we talked about some low-level trades potential. That's very possible. And also some free agents. There's still a lot of names out there that people would recognize. If your team gets an injury or there's still a gap to fill and you don't want to spend a lot of money, these guys aren't going to cost a lot. So I'm going to enjoy it until we get to training camp and then watch all the battles progress. And as always, hope everyone's safe.
Yeah, somebody just got. Somebody shared on one of my and it's hilarious because J-Lo, you're not in this one.
What the hell's going on?
No, somebody got fooled. They thought, how people fall for accounts.
Oh,
This one is Scam Charina, it says, instead of Sham, it says Scam. And it said, this guy's blowing a lid because he's a Golden State fan. Shout out my guy, Bucs GM. I'll just say his Twitter name, Bucs GM. But he thought Golden State got Giannis, and they didn't.
It does suck, but it's still funny.
Yeah, hey guys, this is the time. Usually we talk about it in the NFL because we're an NFL first pod where you got to watch out for certain Twitter accounts. This is the time of year for NBA fans where you got to watch out for certain Twitter accounts because you're going to see a lot of fake news out there and a lot of bull crap. J-Lo, 10 weeks away from you being right here in this basement, brother. What say you?
Cloud 9, man. I've been on keto diet, exercising, trying to drop this poppy weight, I just feel motivated. And then plus I ordered me another jersey. I got the one I ordered me a white away Bucs jersey with the 50-year patch on it. I pulled the trigger, 40% off on
A blank back or a player?
my name. I actually put my name on it for once.
Hell yeah.
And I put
that came at a discount.
Oh,
40% off this weekend. Oh, you're funny. Whatever, Joey. That's ruined my moment, bro. Anyway.
All of.
But anyway, I'm excited. I can't wait. I just keep looking at my Twitter, looking up updates for Bucs news, watching other pods. There's other great pods out there. Give me some knowledge. Trying to survive baseball, even though the Rays are playing phenomenal right now. That's what's keeping me occupied until we actually see some training camp, more hype. I'm not gonna go to the training camp too hot. I'm not doing it. I'll just read on the updates. And plus, where I work at, I can get a view from up top, if I have to. So I ain't worried about that either. But I'm excited, man. 10 days away. I'll be in Chicago with the fellas, chopping it up. Get dubs on both sides between the Colts and the Bucs, pulling off victories. I think they're going to do it. And then we're going to be celebrating, man. Can't wait.
yeah, Bud says that 40% is legit. Yes, 40% off is a great deal.
Yeah.
Usually you get 5 or 10%, and it's like, what the hell? Thanks for just taking nothing off. But 40%, that's a nice one.
Let's just say I saved like $54 on the jersey.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense with 40%. J-Lo just passed math class for the day. Thank you, J-Lo.
And baseball is underway.
No, J-Lo, that's a compliment. I'm saying you're inspiring us to do math on a Sunday.
I mean, I was just sitting on the phone yesterday, and I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, this could be an opportunity.
And you did. You pounced, buddy. That's all that matters. All right, I don't know what's going on here, but speaking of pouncing, we're going to pounce on to the NFL Hall of Fame game, 4.5 weeks away from our first preseason kickoff. And the preseason itself is kind of a joke these days, but man, once you get that Hall of Fame game back, football is in the air, right, fellas? I mean, you're just having it on in the background. You're really not paying attention, but it's just good to hear Collinsworth's voice and Tirico's voice because they get the Hall of Fame game. So it just feels good to honor the legends, but we're 4.5 weeks away, guys. 4.5 weeks away from an NFL game on our computer or on our TVs, computers, whatever the hell you're watching on. Joey, what say you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, like you said, at least it kicks things off, and then you're really close. So my team's been in it before. I've watched it a couple times. I did like back in the day more when you'd at least get these days. I feel like the third string guys almost start right away since it is an extra game, but who knows? You got to enjoy it because they'll shorten it. Eventually we're going to get 18 games and probably 2 preseason, I'm sure, in the next year or two. So just take it all in while you can. As much as I love shortening preseason and extending regular season, it's not easy for all these players to just stay healthy during that time either, because they try to rest up more during the training camp and regular season. So hopefully everything works out well. But Hall of Fame game, I love to see who gets in the Hall of Fame. Watch the ceremonies a little bit. That's where the main cream of the crop is.
Yeah, and I believe it's Chargers Lions squaring off in the Hall of Fame game this year. They try and highlight some of the prolific teams out there who have an impact in the Hall of Fame, but it's more so just the fact, guys, that a kickoff is 4.5 weeks away. That just sounds crazy, right? NFL game at 4.5 weeks. It's like, where does the offseason go? Bud says, me and my good luck girls going to December 11th throwback game versus Falcons. Thursday night football, creamsicles, 2 things the Bucs never do well or play well in. I think Bud's going to change her streak there. I think we're going to get a win in the creamsicles on Thursday night football. And Michael Penix will be begging Todd Bowles, please trade for me, man, please. But we're not going to do it. We're not. We have Baker, so no thanks to the Tampa local. But you're a good kid, Penix, but you could keep being in second place in the NFC South. But, J-Lo, what say you? 4.5 weeks away. Preseason football is in the air. You could smell it.
Nah, on a serious no. Just seeing an NFL preseason football game, just gonna hype it up even more, get me more excited. I like watching these rookies, undrafted free agents go out there and ball out. And to me, it's pretty entertaining for fans. I like to root for the smaller guys, thinking they're not gonna make the roster, because Shilo Sam's getting a lot of hype, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you see a guy like J.J. Roberts can go out there and ball out. He's been talked about very little, so that's something I'm looking forward to. But anyway, long story short, Hall of Fame game, I like it. It just brings more excitement that football's back.
Yeah, training camp will be here soon, Brian. Sadly, I remember the OG Bucs training camp days, and it ain't like it used to be, man. Me and Pops used to go to training camp all the time back in the Greg Schiano days. And you used to be able to just walk right in. We would go 3 times a week, 2 times a week, back-to-back days in that morning heat, go at $1, watch the boys play. And, I met many great people there. I met legendary linebacker Aaron Brown there, the original 55 linebacker in Tampa before Derek Brooks. That was awesome. I met Darrell Revis there. My man Anthony Gator let me on the field at a training camp, which was incredible. I still remember he was waving me in, and then security come, hey, what's he do? Gator, nah, he with me. And then I was able to go on the field. That was incredible. So training camp is just one of those times where you could build bonds and memory. Bring your kids, great player interactions. I know nowadays it costs money. Used to never. I believe the ones open to the public cost $10.95 now. I believe that is a season ticket member perk where you get in for free with season tickets. Everything's about money. Everything's a damn business. Yeah, exactly, bud. It did exactly. It's still fun, but it did change a bit. So it ain't like it used to be, man. I have great memories of training camp back in the day, and yeah, it's still fun. Go out and support. But I agree with Brian. I'm more so looking forward to training camp for the battles going on, what you hear every day. Sports talk radio in Tampa, they're coming through and seeing things. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm just excited for training camp, Hall of Fame game, and all that good stuff. But just crazy now. If you plan on going to training camp, make sure you look into the dates. We announced it a couple weeks ago. I'll pull them back up, but it's not open to the public every date. If you do plan.
I think it's like 5 or 6 days open to the public. And then, of course, the crew members. I think they got a military day for the veterans. So I think that's what I saw when I glanced at a couple weeks ago. So there's definitely opportunities if you are off, and if you want to go in the heat and watch them practice, which I know y'all probably will, go out there, support the team, go watch the battles, and we want to hear, if we're not there, throw a comment, tag us in there, let us know what's going on, what you're seeing.
Good chance to get merch too, because they have a team store out there. So if you don't want to wait till the regular season, if you want your merch sooner, go there. Bud says dress very cool. Yeah, very much cool indeed. Joey, quickly, Colts do the same type of thing for training camp, or what are they up to?
Yeah, they have it about. I think it's a little further away from their actual facility, but they have a lot of good days for the public. Usually get really good crowds. The players are pretty good about doing autographs and all that. We have our couple of joint practices, which sometimes we just do one. This year we have 2. And it's a good time at Grand Park. So there's not always, a lot of payments. Sometimes they do have a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, they let you know. Well, Jim Irsay literally always usually let us know when, whether it was rain or sunshine, whether they had, because if they had to move indoors, you only could have like a few hundred people get in versus outdoors where it's like thousands. So those updates usually came from Big Jim on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So that will be a little sad, of course. But other than that, I've never been to a Colts training camp just because it's further. I go to, 2, 3, 4 games a year, depending on the year. But looking forward to it because training camp, to me, is the regular season.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, Bucs training camp dates this year. Rookies report July 21st. Veterans report July 22nd. Again, it's at the Advent Health Training Center, One Buck Place. The dates are as followed. Thursday, July 24th, open to the public, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Friday, July 25th, open to the public, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Sunday, July 27th, open to the public, Junior Bucs Youth Flag Football Day, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So that sounds like one if you got kiddies, look into that one, inquire about that one. Tuesday, July 29th, night practice, 7 p.m. Eastern, crew members only. Sadly, now the crew members get the fun dates, right? Thursday, July 31st, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, Military Day. Shout out to the military. Friday, August 1st, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, open to the public. Saturday, August 2nd, crew members only, 50th season celebration, 8:30 a.m. Tuesday, August 5th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, open to the public. She is football day. And last but not least, Thursday, August 7th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, crew members only gets to see a joint practice with the Tennessee Titans, which will be awesome. Hey, Joe, our guy B-Shuck says he's actually going to see the Colts at Steelers, taking sister-in-law, who's huge Steelers fan, to Pitt for her first game during Bucs bye week. B-Shuck, I'm pissed because I had the Bucs bye week lined up perfectly. I have to go to some California establishment for a wedding. Penn State's on a bye. The Bucs were rumored to be on a bye, and then the Bucs bye week actually got announced that week. But yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Colts Steelers. We were thinking about going to that one maybe, Joey, but I don't know.
Can't hear him.
Joey?
Talk about a good time to put the hard hat on for the blue-collar workers of Pittsburgh and the Steel City. So, no, that would be a really good time. I've heard great things about that stadium. Colts always don't have the best luck there. But also, I did look it up. Colts training camp starts July 23rd, and there's like 7 or 8 that are free, a couple that are $5, and then the joint practice is $10.
Awesome. Yeah, and if I had to pick one, I'd pay the little bit and go to the joint practice. That'd be a lot of fun, right? You're going to see, Brian, I could see him coming. Frazier starting center, Zach Bucs by 30's nephew. I think he will. I think he will. I talked to him about it briefly, not too much, but I think if I remember correctly, he may end up going to that game. And I wouldn't doubt it. With the Bucs on a bye week, I always try and go to Colts games with my family if they go. So, yeah. Stadium, I heard, is awesome. And I heard the Pirates ballpark is very nice, too. I've never been to the Pirates ballpark either, but I heard Pittsburgh it used to be Heinz Field. I don't know what the heck it is now, if it's still Heinz or not. And then PNC Park for baseball. But I heard Pittsburgh does it right in terms of stadiums. And I just love the feel right on the water, right? When the baseball park is right off the water, it just feels different. It feels awesome. And just seeing that body of water in right field at Pittsburgh, awesome. So great. You're in talks with Zach already. Yeah, he always makes it work. J-Lo and him just met up in Disney, right, J-Lo?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Had a good chat, hung out most of the day. He has an awesome family, really pleasant, really nice. I mean, you can't go wrong being a Disney fan, also a Bucs fan at the same time. I let my daughter ride the rides with his wife and son. I hung out with him, had a great conversation. It's always good, when you get together with people like that. That's a real one for sure.
Zach is a real one. Again, I remember being hungover as all hell at the Arians Family Foundation golf out, and my phone was dead. It was ugly out there, but Zach and his wife were nice enough to help me out, take pictures, and really just help me have a good time and get my phone recharged and all that good stuff. So awesome guy, awesome time. B-Shuck is an awesome guy as well. That'll be a lot of fun if B-Shuck ends up going out there, seeing our great co-host Zach Johnson, the Bucs by 30. Speaking of seeing, you guys could see us live this Wednesday. Another Reporter Power Hour coming this Wednesday night, fellas. We have a loaded lineup of Bucs talk, NFL talk, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. If you guys missed it a couple weeks ago, our first Reporter Power Hour ever. You have 4 reporters in a row, 15 minutes each in a row, a little bit of crosstalk each. Going to be fun. This week we got JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show leading us off at 6 Eastern. Then at 6:15 Eastern, we have coming in the great, I believe 6:15 is Evan Winter from A to Z Sports coming in at 6:15. I have to check the times to be exact, but the great Evan Winter, 6:15. 6:30, Joshua Caeppo of Pewter Report does great work over there, analyzing their cap, analyzing the roster. And then 6:45 is Kenny Barrett from Buck What You Heard. I could have switched Kenny and Evan. I got to check in on that. But regardless, JP Peterson, Joshua Caeppo, Kenny Barrett, Evan Winter, this Wednesday going to be a loaded power hour. Podcasters, reporters from all over come to talk Buck ball. Speaking of talk Buck ball, Joey's cheesing.
No, I'm sorry. I have a sick mind. Just keep going.
Yeah, I'm sure you do over there. Josh does do awesome work, B-Shuck. This guy's cap analysis is spot on. A lot of the contracts he announces or predicts ends up coming right in ballpark area or hitting it spot on with his predictions. So our guy Josh Caeppo, I'm lucky enough to be in a fantasy football league with J-Lo and him and a bunch of others, and it's a great time, but he is the man, and I'm glad he'll be on Wednesday to chat it up with him. Just a really good guy and does great stuff for Pewter Report. Speaking of doing great stuff, quickly, fellas, we still got breadwinners and pigskin hot potato. Shilo Sanders doing some cool things. For those that don't know, Shilo is heavily entrenched, the new Buccaneers safety, undrafted free agent. Is heavily entrenched in YouTube, Instagram, all the stuff that can make him seen, and good for him. Get your money, go stream, get your bread in, right? Go do great things. But at day's end, Shilo Sanders has episodes now where he goes around on YouTube. He goes to different Tampa Bay restaurant establishments and he eats them and reviews them. And it's really a cool thing. And me and Pops watch one on Friday night where he runs into Ric Flair. Actually, Ric Flair goes up to Shilo, goes out of his way up to Shilo. And Ric Flair and Shilo Sanders are hanging out. They're conversing. They're having a great time. And then you see fans lining up. Shilo's taking pictures with all them. So, J-Lo, it seems like Shilo is really just embracing the 813. And I really do hope this kid ends up making an impact on this team at some point.
No, I couldn't agree more. He's definitely become a pretty fan favorite down here in Tampa. He did he was in a video the other day with another fan, and he did like a hype video, bit steal and all that. So hopefully he'll take that all in, go to training camp, ball out, which I think he can do, or at least play special teams to make the team for now and develop, in the top bowl system, which I think he'll fit really nicely. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I mean, he's loving Tampa. Tampa's a great city. I think we can all agree on that. It's a great city to live in for one thing, but also come and visit because we know we're coming up in the world as far as that goes. But yeah, Shilo, we'll see what happens. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for all of them drafted, to battle it out, go out there and ball out, not just Shilo himself, but go ahead.
Only thing that's tricky is with the money, and it ain't a ton of money again, but they did give JJ Roberts certain money in terms of UDFA money. But hey, to the Bucs, you think 200,000, 300,000 is going to really make that big of a difference? Again, it might in terms of some aspects, but I don't think that one. But we'll see. A lot of fun stuff coming up. A lot of roster battles to be had. A lot of practice squad battles to be had. Breadwinners, Rays, Cubs, World Series potential, and UFC talk to come. But first, Pigskin Hot Potato. Once again, catch us live Wednesday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, here for the Reporter Power Hour. JP Peterson, Joshua Caeppo, Kenny Barrett, and Evan Winter. But fellas, are we ready for some Pigskin Hot Potato where we talk exciting or interesting NFL topics in 60 seconds or less?
Absolutely.
Let's cue the music. J-Lo, keep your hands where we can see him, and we'll begin here. J-Lo or Joey, who wants to go first? Which of you gentlemen want to step up to the table first?
Go ahead, Cubby boy. You go first.
If you want some, come get some.
All right, Joey, one of the highest paid defenders in all of football. He actually was the highest paid defender for a little bit this year before the market got reset. But Max Crosby compares the Vegas Raiders rebuild and turnaround to the Oklahoma City Thunder, saying we got a lot of work to do, but it can happen. Obviously, the Thunder went on this year to win the NBA title. Do you think the Raiders can pull off a Thunder-like turnaround like Max Crosby thinks here in the near future?
liking what they're doing, but absolutely not. Football, way more people on a roster. The Thunder have first-round picks out the wazoo. And yeah, no, I mean, again, I know Pete Carroll, they brought in Geno Smith. They got the nice running back, Genty from Boise State. You like kind of what they're doing, but at the same time, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and see a Thunder run anytime soon. I could see them being a 500 ball club. But in that division where it's going to be tough still for a few years, not today.
Yeah, you're probably right. Good job, 34 seconds. I do like what they did, bringing in Brady as a minority owner who helped bring in Spytek, who's helping make some moves. You make a couple more moves, and we'll see what happens. But that division's still loaded. It could take them a while to compete, but you never know. Sports are a beautiful, random thing. You just never know what the hell might happen.
Hope they loaded up on bubble gum for Big Pete.
Jeez, Pete Carroll will be chomping. I think he leads the league in chomping. J-Lo, we're going to give you a sad story here, but a meaningful one. Brian Crook, Joey nips the go. Look at B. What do you got with B-Rabbit, man? What do you and B-Rabbit got going on over there that we don't know about? Jesus, but
the go or the woe, either way, I'll take it. Thank you, B.
Hey, we'll call you the go, sure.
Thank you, B-Han.
Holy shit. Kansas City Chiefs, J-Lo. Again, kind of sad pigskin hot potato topic here, but kind of a fun one. 42 years ago today, Kansas City Chiefs player Joe Delaney tragically passed away, a hero attempting to save 3 children from drowning. A football player giving his life away. You have the world in your hands. You play in the NFL, you're making all this money, you're on TV, and you give it all away in a great manner, attempting to save the lives of 3 children, J-Lo. That's heartbreaking. The story is a new one to me, even though it happened a long time ago. I did not know this about Joe Delaney, but a couple background facts on the great Joe Delaney. He died at the age of 24. He was only 24 years old when he tried saving these children. He was a second-round pick out of Northwestern State. Played for the Chiefs in 81 and 82. He was a Pro Bowler in his rookie year in 1981. So he had a high ceiling, high potential, and just sad stuff. But running back Joe Delaney just passed away too soon trying to play hero ball. Mr. J.
It just goes to show, that most of these NFL players, they have heart, they have compassion, especially when it comes to children drowning in the water. I mean, to me, that's something I would do. I would do that. I wouldn't watch a kid drown at all, for one thing. And second of all, yes, jump right career, but to me, that's a hero right there. Going, saving lives, risking your own to do that. I believe we've seen a couple players in the past do it, and I praise them all. Me being a father of 2, God forbid something ever happens. Hopefully somebody will be there to save my kids, whether you're famous or whether you're coming up in the world or not, So shout out to him, God bless him and wherever family's affected by it. They're probably more proud of him at the same time for what he did to sacrifice to save children's lives. And they're probably grateful now if they're still, pretty grown now living, and I'm pretty sure they know the story pretty well.
Yeah, great job there, J-Lo. 47 seconds. B-Shuck says, have a great day, fellas. You too, B-Shuck. And Nanad's joining us from Serbia. Once again, thanks, B-Shuck, for our first ever super chat earlier for $10. We'll take that. Thanks again, B-Shuck. You are the man right there. But yeah, Joe Delaney, real quick, just to wrap it up. Pro Bowler his rookie season. Won UPI AFC Rookie of the Year in his early season. He had a lifelong history of helping others, people have said, and once paid for the funeral of a former teacher whose family could not afford a proper service. This guy was just a great guy and sadly died too young, thinking he could, play hero. And 3,000 people attended his funeral just to go to show the type of man he was. So rest in peace, Joe Delaney. 42 years ago today, the Pro Bowl running back lost his life, saving the life of 3 children. So going from pigskin hot potato to breadwinners and more talk real quick. J-Lo, 60 seconds or less. Can the Rays and Cubs meet in the World Series this year. Both are playing some really good baseball right now. Could have happened.
Well, I will say this, the Rays are in the right direction with possible new owner surfacing in the next couple of months. I've been keeping tabs on that, so that's a good start.
Are you going to become the new owner, sir?
Oh, if I was a new owner, by all means, I would. Oof. Man, if I was a new owner, I'd be making moves right away with the kind of money that I could spend, adding a couple other bigger bats in there to help out. Even though the bats are doing well, but you want that veteran, bat in there to help, get the, RBIs in there to keep the scoring going. Shane McClanahan, hopefully he comes back. That's what we're kind of waiting on the verdict, see what's going on with that. And the Cubs are a very talented team. Kyle Tucker, dude, playing high school alum, as a high school I graduated from, former Gator, rooting for the kid. Hopefully, gets the Cubs. I mean, it's very possible. It can be, because to me, the American League's wide open to me right now. The Rays keep up what they're doing, getting the continuity. And the Cubs, the Dodgers, I think, are the biggest team your guys' way. If you get past the Dodgers, I think, your guys can definitely make a run into the World Series for sure.
Yeah, I think so as well. Joey, thoughts? Rays, Cubs, two of baseball's best and hottest teams at this very moment. Possible World Series aspirations for these two?
I mean, if both make the willing needed moves at the deadline, I don't see why not. It's all about tacking on when you're in the heart of a race, especially when the bad teams are going to start to sell, and it won't take as much as if you try to trade right now. But as we near the trade deadline, All-Star break in a couple of weeks now, just tack on. You can't stay status quo. You got to make sure you get your pieces, whether it's starting, pitching, hitting, whatever you need, relief. But if they both can add on, I think why not for either team?
Yeah, I think so as well. And one nice thing for the Rays, they'll be adding on from within, right? When a McClanahan gets healthy, when a Han-Sung Kim gets healthy. Those are two big acquisitions for the Rays. And then I was telling Pop, they're gonna get an okay reliever. They'll get a middle of the pack reliever. They'll probably get like a fourth or fifth starter. Then they'll probably get like a 20, 25 home run a year cheap guy. That's the Rays in a nutshell, right? They'll do like 2 to 3 medium moves, but they won't go ahead and rip the big one off. But they do get Kim and McClanahan back at least. For the Cubs, go all in. Your farm system's great. Your real roster's great. Don't deplete the farm, but you have about 1 or 2 prospects you could give up and get a lot in return for. So go ahead and go get it if you're the Cubs.
And just saw this really quick little Bucs trivia here. It should be easy to answer. Guess who the best wide receiver against man coverage last season was in the NFL?
Mike Evans.
Correct, at 92.5.
That was actually a little tricky only because Chris Godwin was playing so damn good before he got hurt. I was oh boy, the U.S. District Attorney's Office is investigating Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley on allegations of gambling related to NBA games. So guys, this is getting dangerous in sports now. And here we are, we're seeing it in basketball happen quite a bit. Real quick before we get to our gambling segment of breadwinners, appropriate time in here, Joey. Does the NBA have a problem on their hands with people gambling on their own sports? Remember, this is the second or third instance we've heard of at least an investigation. You had the kid on the Raptors go to jail. Michael Porter's brother got suspended for life. Now you're having Malik Beasley get investigated. I believe you had Rozier, the point guard, get investigated for gambling. So, Joey, does the NBA have a problem?
I don't know. It could be the NBA, and maybe it's just been how it is coincidentally. I just think we have a problem in all sports with young people being able to have more outlets and ventures to go through. A lot of it is captured online now, not like the old days where you had an old school bookie and you'd place your, mostly cash moving around. So just stop. Whether it's going through your friends or going through whatever you can, you're going to get caught one day if they really want to catch you. So I think for these young men out here and that play pro sports, just don't even link yourself anywhere near it, because it's not about if, it's about when you will get caught.
And I agree, but it seems like, to me,
and maybe it is. It probably is more NBA, but I've seen it with my own team.
Other sports that get in trouble, they're still gambling, but they're not gambling on themselves to our knowledge yet, right? Remember Jamison Williams on the Lions went down. He was gambling on other things. The Colts kid, he went down. Now he's on the Redskins. I'm drawing the defense.
He's on the Eagles now.
Or Eagles, that's it.
The
Forget his name.
cornerbacks. Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah, that's right. Isaiah Rodgers. He had some decent, but you know, these guys are getting in trouble. But it seems like the NBA, and again, I'm going to give Malik Beasley the benefit of the doubt. I hope he's not gambling on his own games. But man, oh man, J-Lo, quick thoughts here on
if he is, it better be in the positive direction.
Yeah, for real, man.
I mean, you know, it's a risky business when they do that. You know, when you're doing something you're not supposed to do, and if you're guilty, then it's on you. You know, you pay the price. You know the rules.
And I'll say this too: the NBA probably would be the easiest one to be able to do that with, right?
Yes. Yeah, agreed. Because NFL, forget it. You'll get busted pretty quickly, and then guess what? You're going to screw yourself over for the most part. You know, so hopefully it's not true. If it is, I mean, you're going to have to deal with the punishment, whatever it is, whether it's ban you from the league. I don't know what their rules regulated are in the NBA. But to me, I just feel, you know, because I know he's the only one doing it if it's true. There's a lot that do it. Some just don't get caught. And I feel like they got to do better at that. That way they can cut that down and stop risking prospects in here.
The type of players getting caught in the NBA, it's like, man, hold on to your NBA career. That's what's going to butter your bread. You know, you guys are mid to bottom of the roster guys. You don't need to do this gambling. Your career is handing you millions, and once you retire, you're going to need to hang on to all that money. Now they're going to be spending time behind bars and hope they get what they deserve if Malik Beasley gets found guilty, because that ruins sports. It ruins the integrity of the game, ruins the reputation of the game, ruins gambling on the game. It ruins everything. So if you are calling Malik Beasley, I'm going to save my words and let his verdict play out, but it's never good if you're getting investigated by the U.S. District Attorney's Office. That's not a good sign. Serious development. And he's one of the top NBA free agents this year too, guys. So just a guy being an idiot, costing himself 25 to 30 million, potentially, right? He could be non-guilty, and that's a different story. But if you're guilty, shame on you, Malik Beasley. Hey, what an appropriate swing. Don't gamble out there, kids. But we got breadwinners here for you guys now. Our segments where we make you guys money. Malik Beasley, tune out if you're tuning in. Thank you. No, just kidding. You might not be guilty, but what's that Porter kid's name? Not Otto Porter. Forget the Porter kid. Jonte Porter, whoever the hell went down. But breadwinners time, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're 32-11. I got to calculate because we were off last weekend, so we didn't do breadwinners. Got to calculate from a couple weeks ago to see how we ended on the Oilers, DC Defenders, and Washington Nationals. But at worst, we're 32-14, and at best, we're 35-11. We were plus $335 at that time. Breadwinners could be anything from now until Wednesday's show in the world of sports. Joe, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Good idea, as my computer seems to be dying here, but we're ending almost soon anyway, so I'm good. I'm going to go. Actually, I mean, I hate to say it. Hopefully, I don't take J-Lo's here, but I like the Tampa Bay Rays today on the money line at minus 110 with Taj Bradley on the mound against Baltimore. They're hot right now, and I just like those odds. It's still pretty good for a team that's playing a team 12 games under 500. So give me the Rays minus 110.
Yeah, that series has been insane. The Rays were up 6-0 Friday, ended up losing 22-8. Then the Rays won like 13-2 yesterday or something. So crazy series so far there. Joey has Rays minus 110 on the money line. J-Lo, where are you going in the world of sports?
I'm going to go with the Cubs. Give me the Cubs over there.
Oh,
wow.
Look at the love.
Hey, let them apples.
I love it.
But give me money line Cubs. I believe Houston's like negative something. So give me the Cubs.
Yeah, Cubs are plus 118. So that's a good little pick-me-up bet right there. I'm going to go with I might go with the shotgun one here. A little bit of an upset. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rockies over the Brewers. Why not? German Marquez on the mound today. He's been pitching pretty good for the Rockies the past 6
I saw you
weeks.
picked him up.
Yeah, if he does bad, he's done. But times 205. So, plus 205, you bet $20, you win $42. And the Brewers won the first 2 games. It's time for the Rockies to get one. So we got Joey with the Rays minus 110, J-Lo with the Cubs plus 118, and Tampa Tones with the Rockies plus 205. If you parlay that, that'd be a fat little payout. And that'd be a very good end result. Speaking of end result, before we get to final words, Joey, UFC 317, you catch any of that yesterday?
Yeah, the earlier card and then the highlights. I hope Patty the Baddie is next up for the championship title against that,
Taporia.
I don't want to call him by his name because I think he just needs to get his ass knocked out once he is undefeated. So I'm hoping Patty the Baddie can hand him his first L next time because that would be a great draw, great entertainment. I mean, that knockout last night in round 1 was pretty intense. There was a couple of other knockouts lower in the card. I forget the one dude's name, the ball guy. He just knocked the crap out of the other. So it was a pretty good pay-per-view. And, I'm looking forward to it.
You're talking about Vans.
Yeah, there was some good ones there. So it was a pretty good card overall if you like knockouts.
Yeah, 23-year-old UFC fighter Vans put on a show last night. His future is incredible. He's very young and very good for the sport. So, Kai Kara France didn't fare too well last night. Joe Burrow, you remember that moment where Joe Burrow was waiting for Kai Kara? They're like, Kai Kara, someone's here for you. He's like, hey, who's this fan? He's like, I'm Joe Burrow. He's like, oh, who? It's like, because you live in other countries. So, J-Lo, thoughts on UFC 317 before we get to our final word?
Yeah, Joshua Van, going back to him, he was ranked 12th in his weight class.
He went up against the third guy.
No, went up number 1 guy. Number 1 guy. So for him to come up that quickly and end up winning, and now he's going to get a title shot against Padoja, who defended his belt last night. So that should be an intriguing fight whenever they put that together. And plus, if I'm not mistaken, I think Joshua Van, he fought 3 weeks before. So this was kind of like a last-minute fight.
He fought early June, like June 7th or something like that.
Yeah, and so for a short period of time to go up against the number 1 guy in the weight class, that was very impressive. I didn't know anything about it until last night when I looked more into him. And then plus, Charles Oliveira, guy, underrated, he's a dog. But clearly Taporia just straight up knocked him out, which Oliveira's never been knocked out in the UFC.
I don't know. Yeah, Taperi is a beast. He's built different. He's just so good, so hateable, but so good.
And then one more, and then Peyton Talbot, he ended up knocking off Felipe Lima.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, Peyton Talbot, definitely. That was another good fight I really enjoyed watching. As far as the submission by Padoja defending his strap and Taporia with the knockout, Charles Oliveira, to me that was a successful UFC night if you ask me. Probably one of the best ones in a little bit that I've seen for a little bit if you ask me. As far as UFC before, I
think Van Royval was one of the better UFC fights, not only of the year but of all time potentially. That thing was a banger, heat after heat after heat. And Terrence McKinney got a win. I'm a Terrence McKinney guy. He defeated somebody in the prelims, which is always good to see. Joey, final word and final wrestling thoughts, final Colt thoughts, whatever the hell you want to talk about, brother.
Yeah, hope Cubs win the series today against Jacobs Astros. Someone who watches the show here. Also, I want to say shout out to Dave Parker, who passed away. Had one season where he had 42 homers and 125 RBIs. Like you said, a legend. Hit 339 RBIs in his career. And then 10 Sundays away, we mentioned it a few times now. Every week we do this show, we get closer to the promised land. So great part to be a part of the journey. Thank you for the super chat. And we'll keep moving forward and moving on and get bigger and better, just like everything else. And shout out, finally, to John Cena and Cody Rhodes for their victories at Night of Champions.
Corey Hayes. Great Night of Champions coverage by Cleve and me and Corey Hayes. So, maybe we'll get Corey Hayes on Cleve and me here. J-Lo, final word, brother.
Final word is, thank you for all the fans commenting, tuning in.
B-Shuck Super Chat.
And B Shuck overall.
Thank you, B Shuck. Much appreciated.
Yeah, all right, man. This is getting scary and smelly and footy and all that.
But for real, shout out to the first super chat and B Shuck. We appreciate you, man. Thank you again. But also thank you for all the commenters and listeners. Getting us off to a hot start earlier when we started. We got a real treat coming on Wednesday with a great group of men on. Reporters, writers. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you enjoy that Power Hour a couple weeks ago, we'll be looking forward to have Zach back on Wednesday from the Disney trip. Shout out to him, for what he's done for the show. Can't wait, man. Football season almost here. 10 more Sundays away, like Joey said. And like I said, we're going to keep the ball rolling here.
Liked by a bunch on Facebook who watch. Thank you to everyone out on Facebook who watch. Don, Dave Ferrara, just OGs over there. Diane McKittrick, Laura Bettiga Baker, and the rest of the gang means a lot watching on Facebook. YouTube was great. We had B Shuck with the $10 super chat. We are eligible for monetization now, guys. So super chats, super stickers, super comments, always appreciated. Not needed, always appreciated. Money helps grow the show. You want more Buccateers? That's the way to do it. And then memberships. We're offering a $2.99 honorary Buccateers membership where you get the privilege to privately chat with the Buccateers and other honorary Buccateers whenever we're live on a show. For instance, you see this public chat, you'd have this chat and then a little niche chat as well where you can ask us direct questions and stuff. And then also the $2.99 membership comes with a shout out a week. You guys could pick which show you want to be shouted out on and what you want us to say about you, but we could do that. Additionally, the $5.99 Buccaneers Brigade membership comes with both of those items, plus one random piece of Buccateers merchandise every year. It could be a mini helmet, could be a t-shirt, a long sleeve shirt. You just let us know your size just in case it's clothing and it'll come your way. But for $5.99, that is worth it alone, ladies and gentlemen. Then you get to chat alone and other things. So just stay with us and keep believing in us. Super chats, memberships, and we might open a store on there. Who the hell knows as well. But plenty of great things on the Buccateers. Rest in peace to Dave Parker. J-Lo, great job today, brother. Joey Nips, hell of a job once again. Rockies, Cubs, Rays are our breadwinners. God bless. Fire the damn cannons and go Bucs. Until next time, Wednesday, Reporter Power Hour. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. Kenny Barrett of the Buck What You Heard podcast. Evan Winter, A to Z Sports. And the great Joshua Kaepo, cap specialist at Pewter Report. We're going to bring the heat 6 p.m. Wednesday. We'll see you guys once again. Thank you, B Shuck, for the amazing super chat, brother. J-Lo, have a great weekend. On behalf of Joey, Nips, J-Lo, Tampa Tones, and the rest of the Buccateers, Bucs by 30, Buck What You Heard, and the rest of the gang. God bless. Great weekend. Go Bucs. Fire the damn cannons. Peace. Oos out. Bro, we'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
it was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time. How was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But to watch that and to think I wished I was there live, so to have your video was so cool. And just that, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So.
And honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, hey, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann, and still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then come out and make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers, a wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have